Better. Much better.
I went home after that other meeting and turned it on the TV, it was super clear, it was really good. They got there to basically see everybody's pros and cons.
But you heard it though.
How's it going? All right, Bob, how you doing?
I'm pretty fit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Let Millie sleep a while. Don't tell her I said it. And. You'll be muted. Cole's wife said he could hear me when I did that.
Oh, really? Well, then maybe just leave it on.
Whatever. about 3 minutes before we start. If you have your phone, will you please put it on silent or vibrate? Go ahead and do that. Get him a check. We'll just get him. One right there. That. That's fine.
I came straight from work.
You need those agenda. You need an agenda.
Ron, you got the agenda?
You got an agenda for Millie?
That's okay, Ron, I'll follow along. I read it more. Thank you.
Just waiting on one more person to show up, and then we'll start, folks.
Julia on the hill.
I bet it is. Is there anything left up there? Wind's blowing.
Frozen salad. Frozen salad right now. Makes it easier coming off the line.
Slide right off.
Sandy couldn't hardly get up the hill with a little, whatever it is, Polaris thing. She said, I expect I wasn't gonna make it this morning.
Put some bumpers up through there.
No, they quit scraping it for some reason. I guess I'm gonna have to get changed when it's on scraping.
Bob, ain't nobody's come, nobody's out parking lot. We'll go ahead and start without them then. Okay. At this time, we'll go ahead and call our meeting to order for February 2021. If everyone will please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Be seated. Thank you, everyone, for coming out here tonight on a cold, wintry night in February. We appreciate your attendance, and we appreciate you being here. First off, we have the agenda in front of the council here. And if there's any additions or changes to the agenda, I'll entertain those motions. I do have one change on line item number 6. Instead of Ms. McDaniel, we'll have Tom Zach right there. But if there are any other changes or additions, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve our agenda tonight.
So moved.
Have a motion and a second? All in favor, show of hands, please. 5-0 on the agenda. Thank you. You also have had the chance to look over the minutes from our regular meeting of January the 5th, and I'll entertain a motion to approve those minutes. Have a motion and a second. And all in favor, show of hands, please. 5-0 on that. We'll start off with our public comments, and public comments in this part of the section of the meeting is for the agenda items only. So if you have anything that you'd like to voice your concerns about right now on the agenda only, you may step to the podium and speak your public comments. That being said, no movement. We'll close that part of the public comments. And at this time, I'm going to have a special recognition, and I'm going to go to the podium for this. As many of you know, that 2020 is a year that some of us would like to forget a little bit about, with the COVID, earthquake, disasters that have happened in our community. But with disaster also comes some greatness out of it, because there's people that stand up and take charge and do something to help our community and to make a difference. And tonight I'm going to recognize a few of those. So at this time, I'd like Tanya Sheets, Gil Tadani, and William Bottomley to stand up here beside me right here. I'll go first with Tanya. She is the owner of the Touch of Grace shop here on Main Street. And I am giving Touch of Grace, Gil's Jeans and Things, and William Bottomley, on behalf of the Sparta Town Council and the citizens of Sparta, as mayor, it's a great honor for me to give you something that I created last year. It's called the Sparta Spirit Award. And that exemplifies what we're all about. So Touch of Grace is hereby awarded, as is Gil's Jeans and Things, the Sparta Spirit Award for their dedication and commitment to our town and community. Your efforts in raising money for the earthquake victims is unparalleled. We recognize you with this honor, and with great appreciation present you this little award. Gil, we appreciate you. You've been in business here for many, many years.
Thank you.
And you're a great asset to our community.
Thank
you. Tanya, you took over a business, and you've done well with it, and you're continuing to be a great pillar of this community, and we appreciate you. William Bottomley spearheaded an event. He's got T-shirts together, and for his dedication and commitment to our town and efforts with conjunction with all those that were helping him, have raised nearly $5,000 for earthquake victims in our area. We recognize you with this honor and great appreciation, and thank you for your efforts in doing that for those people that were affected by the earthquake. Amen. You guys want to say anything? Come right up there. Show you, put your things there together, and hold up your stuff real quick. There you go. They're getting there. Let's do it. All right, 1, 2, 3. One flash. 1, 2, 3. These guys exemplify what community is all about, and I could not be more proud to be associated with such fine folks. Thank you guys for what you do on a daily basis in our town and our community. Thank you guys. If there's anything that you'd like to add there, Gil, go ahead.
Thank you. Not a thing. I really appreciate what you are doing.
We appreciate you all.
Thank you.
William, anything?
Thank you. I'm
Thank you.
speechless.
Just something there. We need some positive energy in our community at this time, as many people are going through some sadness. Those guys, you deserve that. We appreciate you, and thank you very much once again. Item number 6 on our agenda tonight, we're going to have Tom Zach. Tom Zach's going to come up and speak to us.
Approximately a year and a half ago, I brought to the attention of y'all about the Halsey Street Speedway and suggested a traffic light. However, the state poo-pooed that, and that ended that. And then I suggested speed bumps like they have on Main Street in Matthews, right on the Main Street 4-lane highway. If you dare go over 15 miles an hour, you're going to lose the underneath of your vehicle. And that was going to be looked into, and I don't recall hearing anything about that. Then y'all made a resolution to make Halsey Street a two-axle vehicles, which was great. But then you rescinded it because of streetscape being finished up. That's been done since summertime, and nothing's been done about that. It would be great if you'd also limit that to just the two-axle vehicles and keep out all the trailers with 2, 3, and 4 axles on them, so that would increase the number of axles coming down the street. And then I suggested purchasing a handheld radar gun, because the radar in the police cars can only aim in one direction. And I don't know what happened to that. I've got the perfect solution to this whole problem. Make Halsey Street one way from Memorial Park Drive to 18. Now you're not going to have cars flying down. They can go down at a nice level stretch, hang a left on Choate Street or Ave, and get back to Memorial Park Drive. Any comments?
You want to start or you want me to?
Go ahead.
Okay. We have acknowledged your concerns for the past year, and we have looked into it. We've even experimented with ripple strips down here on the bypass that if you have noticed and seen,
I think the snowplow,
obviously that are not going to work.
right?
okay.
Snowplow took them off.
DOT is in charge of the light situation.
Right.
We're not going to be able to put a light there, period.
I realize
There's no way. Our police force has been over there extensively, whether you've seen them or not, they have been there extensively to monitor traffic situations. I myself have rode with the chief of police, and we have gassed it as fast as we could go in that curve down there, and 50 mile an hour was as fast as we could get. Am I correct, chief, on that? You are on the radar to be looked at and fixed. We have other priorities right now that we have to have done, period. And
Understandable.
one of those things was the bypass down here where people were getting injured and many accidents. Fortunately for us, Halsey Street hasn't had an accident in a little while. Knock on wood. We don't wish that. We don't want that. We do take this very seriously, and it is being monitored on a basis that our town manager and our chief of police are taking care of. You aren't forgotten. You ain't forgotten. So we're working on that, and we will have a solution somehow, some way to curb that stuff. Now, whether that be something down the road, we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can, Mr. Zach. And that's the only thing I can tell you is that it's a progress. We will make progress, and it's a process. We have other priorities that we have to have done right now.
Understandable. What are your thoughts about making it a one-way street, Memorial Park to 18?
Well, my thoughts is we'll have to have to talk about that amongst the council and see what's going on, see what regulations that poses with the road laws or street laws or whatever we can do, what we need to do that.
Okay.
I mean, that's an option that we can definitely look at, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you that's going to be fixed tomorrow.
I think
okay.
that's my last option.
Well,
Make
don't
it a
think-
one-way street.
I live on the street right beside you. And I think ever since streetscape has been done, traffic flow has slacked up quite a bit. Right?
Somewhat.
So that's helped out a whole lot. And we're getting that street back open up here on Main Street. We'll look at it. We'll get back with you. And like I say, it's not going to be done overnight, but we are looking at that. If Ryan wants to chime in and say anything, that's good too.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I don't want to jump in front of the council if y'all have something to add. All right. Certainly to follow up on the two items you brought, I think at the December meeting, the handheld and the sign that shows speed limit. Chief and I are researching that. There are some training issues from the police department side we have to get situated before we can use handheld or the sign. So he and I are continuing to work on that. You're
Okay.
not out there.
I'm not forgotten. Okay,
We're trying to find that resolution for you.
Great. Appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen.
And we'll take care of it, Mr. Zach. We sure will. Agenda item number 7 is our Chamber of Commerce update. Ms. Lisa Bottom is going to give that to us.
Good evening, not afternoon anymore, is it? All right. Each one of you have a report in front of you. I had asked, just some feedback on what you would like to hear from me each month. And so this month I just offered some information on what we've been doing. But if you can think of anything particular that you want to hear about moving forward, if you will, just send me an email or let Ryan or Mayor Brinegar know, and they can let me know what you'd like to hear on a month-to-month basis. So the report in front of you, I just wanted to mention a few marketing initiatives that we did over the holidays. I won't read all through that. It's quite a bit of information, but I wanted you to have that on hand. It mentioned some radio spots that we did. Those were 1-minute ads with WKBC, WIFM, and 580 over in West Jefferson. We also did some advertising with Allegheny newspaper. There's a little synopsis of what we did with them over the holidays. Upcoming, we have a Valentine's Day ad coming up. It's called Show Your Love for Local. And it really kind of hones in on when you shop local, you're making an investment in your community. We want people to understand that when they do business local, it will eventually come back into the community. You know, when people go and they ask for donations for nonprofits or for the sports teams, it all comes back. We will be working with Charlie Scott to record some chamber chat sessions, kind of like what the mayor does, and the town manager and the sheriff. I believe you all have a kind of a little show you do there. We may try to do something like that with the chamber. Do some business and service videos, county advertising, etc. So Charlie and I have lots of plans on that. We don't have anything nailed down specifically yet. We will be working with the High Country host. That's up in the High Country up near Blowing Rock area. We are updating information on Sparta and Allegheny County. We're going to be providing them with some day trip information, what a day in Allegheny would look like, special event information, and we will be running a half an ad in their spring co-op opportunities up there. We also do publications like Blue Ridge Country, Blue Ridge Digest. Allegheny County Magazine, we are currently working on the 2021 magazine. We are doing our ads right now, getting those in from different businesses and different individuals. We are doing content articles for this year, and I did make a list of just what some of that will include. Streetscape, we're going to do an article on farming and agriculture, on Allegheny health, on our culture and heritage of Allegheny County. Commitment to education. We always do one on Go for a Hike or the state parks around. We do one about being in the heart of the Blue Ridge Parkway. We will also do one on the street. I don't know if I mentioned that, the streetscape this year. And we always do one on high-speed connectivity. And then we will also add some economic development information moving forward. I am currently being given the responsibility and ownership of our chamber website and the Authentically Allegheny websites. This is very time consuming, but we are making a lot of edits to those to make them user-friendly, very attractive to not only our locals, but also to visitors of Allegheny County and to our members. For the chamber website, we do hope to enhance the membership listings to include like a small paragraph about that company or about that business. We want to add more photos and more contact information for that business so that when someone clicks on a member, it just opens up a lot more information than what's currently on there. We want to, of course, moving forward, we'll want to include some economic development information, and we're currently adding new photos, content, and making sure that the information on the websites are correct and accurate. We're doing the same thing basically with Authentically Allegheny, reviewing to ensure accuracy of information, adding information on wedding meeting venues, adding photos, information on culture and heritage, and so on. At the chamber, we are working on our chamber membership, working on enhancing our benefits. We want to make sure we are showing the value of being a member. That's something we've heard a lot of, when I came on, is that people don't see the value of being a chamber member. And we want to make sure that we're showing people that, our businesses, and making sure that throughout the year they're feeling that they are getting something for their money. We plan on doing this with enhancing marketing through social media, through our weekly briefing, through videos, YouTube, and through Instagram. There are so many untapped avenues that the chamber has never touched on before that I'm really working on, just bringing light to Allegheny County and making sure that we're very visible to our locals and all to our visitors, anyone outside of Allegheny. To report on the Visitor Center, we just, this week in the paper, we have posted the position for Visitor Center Coordinator. So we hope to have someone in place by March 1st for that. Visits to the center are low right now, very slow due to winter months and, of course, the weather. We had approximately 230 visitors from mid-October to December 20th. And like I said, this past month's been extremely slow because of the yucky weather we're having up here. Gift certificate program, and this will be the last thing I mention. Gift certificates may be used in any participating member business, and to date we have sold over $20,000 worth of certificates. We do not make any profit from those at all. They go right back into the community, and they directly benefit the local businesses that they're redeemed in. So we do not profit from those certificates. Also attached to your report, I copied this off of our website. It's the member benefits that we currently have. It's just kind of a high-level overview. I just wanted to offer you that so you can see what we're currently doing. But like I said, we are in the process of enhancing those benefits, kind of going a step above and beyond what we're currently doing, just so that our members feel like they're getting the best value for their money and that they feel valued as a business here in Allegheny County. Any questions?
I do have a suggestion.
Sure.
Not now, because of the weather and the time of year it is. But we have a lot of events here in the summertime, spring,
Yes, sir.
fall. I've always thought it would be nice to have a focused attack on getting churches. We have all kinds of churches down the mountain, Charlotte, Greensboro, Winston. And those pastors are always looking for outings for their people.
Mm-hmm.
I've dreamed of having a bus pull up in front of my shop. And I think if you may not get many, but I think it would be worth your money to send letters, concentrate on one area at a time. And if, get those people up here. A lot of them are older folks who don't buy anything, but they go back and tell their son and daughter that they really like such and such, and they come up and buy it.
Right.
So that is a suggestion for later on in the year that you might look at.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, actually, John. I've reached out to a lot of different chambers around North Carolina to see how they engage with churches, not just in their county, but outside of their county. We have a great opportunity here in Allegheny. We have a lot of great venues, a lot of great places for people to meet. Like you said, bring groups up to do tours, different things like that. So I think that's something that we should really focus on, getting people here to see our county. Churches is one way to do that. And also working with our local churches. Churches have a great impact on economic development and on community service. And we don't do enough with them. So thank you for that
Just a
suggestion. And it's something that I've been thinking about and definitely want to work on moving forward.
It's just a suggestion.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything? Lisa, thank you for that report. Appreciate
Okay.
what you're doing up there.
Thank you.
Appreciate everybody's hard work.
No, appreciate your support. Thank you.
Thank you again. Item number 8 on our agenda tonight is the High Country Council of Government Charter Amendments and Resolution, and I'm going to let our town manager explain that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council, in your packet, you have a 6-page charter from the High Country Council of Government. It is through really some congressional action that council governments are formed. The High Country Council started their charter in 1974. They've only amended their charter a couple times, and it is since dated to where terminology and practice no longer meets what the organization is doing. So they have provided the red line draft that you've seen. It doesn't really change anything as far as the membership of the town of that organization. It just brings that charter into alignment with practice. As a unit of government, they have to have support from the membership to change that. So they have requested that we adopt the charter as presented and then support the resolution that is also in your packet. Just of note, Peggy and I quickly tallied what our membership in the High Country Council has yielded. Outside of Streetscape, that organization has obtained nearly $1.7 million in project funding for the town lawn. So I think maintaining support for that organization and being actively engaged has well served the town. So I recommend that you approve the charter and the resolution of support. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
You need a motion?
I do.
I'll make the motion to do that.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Show of hands, please, for High Country Council of Government 5-0. On that resolution. And also, I just want to say this, being a member of that organization there, I'm on the advisory board of the High Country and on the executive board. And that they do a great job, and they help a lot of people. Not only do they help us, they help there's what I think it's 7 counties that is into this. So in 16 municipalities, I believe it is. But just a great organization. Ryan, if you want to go ahead and go into the cardboard disposition charges.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Council, as you're all very much aware, effective January 1, the county instituted a $75 per ton for commercial cardboard collection. As they provided in the joint meeting, they are looking down the scope at bringing a free or a recycling program for cardboard back to the county. It's still not clear what that looks like. Certainly, we want to be a partner in that when the time is right. But they reported it would likely be September 2021 before that materialized. So inside that, commercial cardboard collection has to continue for our businesses here in town. So our contractor has been incurring charges for disposing of the cardboard that he has collected for our commercial customers. He came in last week to discuss the bills that he had been receiving from the county. And he has requested that the town cover the cost that he is incurring for disposing of that until we find a permanent resolution for the fee that we're paying for cardboard collection. So that request is from our contractor. It looks that if we were to stay in line with what we've collected for this month, it's going to be at minimum about $300 that cost of disposal is going to run the town. Now I will fully disclose that we did increase the contract for the pickup services back when the county initially stopped cardboard collection. So that cost and this cost was not a part of the original budget. And that line item is running fairly close. So as the town council, and if anything we've learned from an item I'll discuss shortly, you guys have to be fully aware of what you're voting on. So I need to disclose we're running tight, and we're going to have to make some provisions if it's a long-term issue. With that, I'll answer any questions.
I got a couple of questions.
Okay.
The people that's got the cardboard in question, do they pay extra to pick that cardboard up already?
They do not.
They do not. Okay. I don't think it's hardly fair for the town to blunt the cost of that right there. I mean, if they've got a dumpster, just let them put it in with the regular trash. That's my thoughts are, you know, I mean, until they have a recycling program, just put it in there with the regular trash. I don't know how everybody else feels out about it. I don't think we can keep doing, paying extra to the county for something that we're not getting anything out of.
Well, as part of that increase that we did to the contract, part of that increase was for cardboard pickup, right?
Correct.
So, I mean, contractually speaking, I mean, we're paying him to pick up the cardboard with that 12,000 increase that we did. I think he has an opportunity to where he could sell it. You know, David Spicer, the Public Works Director for the county, mentioned last night at their meeting that cardboard right now is bringing $65 a ton, and that's baled. And so I know he doesn't have a way to bale it, but if he could sell it, then he makes money and there's no cost to the town. Because if we paid this, if we covered this cost, we would have no choice but to turn that cost over to the merchants who are already stretched thin, given this past year's situations anyway.
Anybody else got anything you want to add?
I just feel like it, you know, at this point in time, just put it in there with the regular trash. That's what we have to do at home.
To my knowledge, Ryan, our contractor is the only one that actually is sorting the cardboard or picking up cardboard by itself. The
From
other
my
en-
understanding.
The other entities throughout the county is mixing it all together and just taking it over there. And that may be something that we need to just have Roger do. I don't know. Terry, you got any thoughts on it? Or-
I agree with Mike. Trash.
I mean, until the county comes up with a recycling program, which I hope they do. You know, I mean, that's the only choice. We can't keep, you know, this is a specialty thing there that just try and keep the cardboard separate and then, you know, it's costing, you know, end up costing the town and the taxpayer more money.
What I heard at that joint meeting was the September date was more for the commingle than it was for cardboard. I didn't hear anything there that suggested that they were going to be doing anything with cardboard in the near future. So I was, you know, they're looking at that grant for that commingle compactor. I'm sort of the same mind as Mike. However, you know, you had mentioned to me that there might be a way for the town of Sparta to do the baling. I look up on it as a investment in a compactor that would just do cardboard that would probably pay off in a few years. I don't know if that's a possibility or not. I know my brother's not particularly interested in doing it, but I think we either got a choice of just telling him to, you know, telling people to put their cardboard in with trash and commingle it and let the county decide what they want to do about that. Either that or, you know, I don't see a lot of options for us. I see us being penalized, what, $15,000-$20,000 a year for cardboard for our merchants, and that's a lot of money. I mean, I don't know what a penny of tax is raised, but it doesn't raise that much.
12,000.
So, you know, you're looking at a 2% tax increase just to cover those costs. I don't think that's very wise. And like I said, as far as what to do about it, I think Mike's got one solution. We might look at doing our own. I'm not trying to take anything away from the county if they're willing to do it and more
Well, they did mention last night in their meeting that Mr. Spicer said that he has been looking into he had looked into repairing the baler, but the people that he had spoke with that would be receiving the cardboard, I think, wasn't keen on that style of baler. So then they were talking about, the possibility of another baler. And if that's the case, I mean, to not let the county foot the bill on everything, I mean, I think it would be something for us to look into, going in on a baler together.
I mean, I'd be
And-
willing to go along with spending some money to help the county get a baler
Mhm.
for cardboard so that, in the long run, we're gonna save money.
Sure.
And my brother found a website where you can buy a compactor for, cardboard somewhere between 12 and 20,000. And it's specifically for that. So, if it takes a little bit of money from us to help them get that, then I'm all for it. But we need to do something because we can't, like I said, I don't see this cost going away anytime this year.
I mean, there's obviously a market for cardboard at $65 a ton. I mean, there's obviously a
Well,
market for it.
there's companies like Waste Management, I mean, they make money at it,
Mhm. Yeah.
And, so it might be an opportunity there for Roger or somebody else, to do that. But,
Mhm.
So the commercial folks, and first and foremost, Roger has worked like a dog on the recycling for many, many, many years. And I can't say enough good things about his dedication to the program. It's not his fault that things happen like they did. It's not anybody's fault. We are in the situation we're in. Now, these folks who he picks up the cardboard from, do we charge them more to pick that cardboard up, or do they just get and I'm totally ignorant here about the fee scale for garbage. I know that the residential has got a flat rate, but do we charge them more based on volume?
No, and let me give you the long answer and it'll take me 2 minutes. So prior to the discontinuing of the cardboard, Roger picked cardboard up for free because he maintained the product. So once the county stopped that, we sent out a direction to the merchants to commingle trash and cardboard. Well, that certainly increased the size of the merchants' garbage or their waste. So some of them had to increase their frequency of pickup or their dumpster size. So that increased their charge to them that the town assessed. But overwhelmingly, people stayed the same, has continued to dispose of cardboard in their cardboard dumpster, and Roger has picked that up on Thursdays and then gets assessed a fee at the landfill. So we have taken steps to commingle that. We just haven't executed what we put out there.
So it sounds like we told them to commingle it,
We did.
But they were left in the box to put it in.
but then it upped their cost, and so they didn't want to commingle it anymore.
Correct.
So if we tell them to commingle it, that's not going to work.
Because they already should be doing that. The flip side of that, that's about 30 dumpsters that we're gonna have to take in that we have nowhere to put. So it's not that we could tell them to stop throwing their stuff in it and go get their dumpster to alleviate the temptation. We don't have a space to put all those dumpsters.
So what you're saying, it's not feasible to tell them to commingle it.
We've tried.
Well, and that's informative. I wasn't aware of how that worked. I don't know.
Could we talk to this parks manager, parks director about the idea of mutually buying a cardboard compactor that is used for cardboard.
I think
I know
our
you're-
best course of action from the research I've done, reaching out to commercial providers for cardboard only, is going to be a partnership
Partnership with the county.
with the county.
I don't have any problem with that, and like I said, I don't have a problem with splitting the bill or whatever it takes to get that, but, you know, if we're paying $300 a month, a week, or is it a week or a month?
A month.
A month. When he talked about $400 a week. And I don't know
And
where he got
again,
that
during
number
the
from.
summer, it may go up, but just rough numbers on what he provided for
Right.
this month.
But you know, at $300 a month, that's $3,000 a year. That's a lot of money. And I think it'd be better served to spend that money to help the county get a compactor that would do that so that we don't have this fee anymore.
Ryan, would you like to talk with, Mr. Spicer? Mr.
David.
Spicer?
David Spot.
And report back to us at the next meeting on this?
Will you have time to do that?
He's gonna be leaving here for a couple of weeks here, but we'll get with it.
We will make sure we make that connection. In previous conversations, they are aware we are a willing participant in a partnership to make this happen. Unfortunately, that's not gonna happen
That's not gonna solve the immediate problem.
tonight or 3 months from now. So
Given the immediate, I can't see you approving the 300 or to
So
whatever
this
the
is,
cost will be. I can't see covering.
this is
that.
gonna be something that's probably gonna be about a three to 4 month project out, I'd say, for these
He
recurring costs.
mentioned
best
some-
case.
he
Best case
mentioned
scenario.
Something about June, or did he not? No.
Well, that's just when they would know if they
They got
were
the grant.
awarded the grant, I believe.
I'd say they're gonna have to, just mix it up or, with the regular stuff until county figures out what they're gonna do. And if you have to pay extra for a dumpster, then that's part of business.
So we need some action here.
I
He
need
needs to know, are we going to take up the fees, or is this something that Roger's gonna have to pay for
And I mean,
unless he mingles the trash?
I understand that, and I've
Correct.
got no
And I
problem with
just need direction to
it. I just gave them
communicate
12,000.
to our merchants and to our contractor.
Okay, so he wants to take that lead. We have to come up with something. Best case scenario is a 3 to 4 month plan right here. We're gonna either gonna have to take up the cost and pay for it for Roger, or we're gonna say no, and Roger's gonna have to pay for the cost until we find out what the county's gonna do.
I will tell you, he ain't gonna be happy about that.
And I'm not getting in the middle of this is where y'all get to direct me. I don't know that it has to be a either or. It can be a both. We can communicate more strongly with our merchants to commingle, and the direction is, if there's anything in your cardboard dumpster, we're not servicing it. And Roger can take care of January.
Has he alluded to being able to sell the cardboard loose, not baled?
He did say that he had a contact in Galax that he would engage to see if they would take it loose. Now, it's substantially cheaper, because it's not baled,
Right.
it's just raw cardboard.
But then he's not incurring the cost of $75 a ton, and we're not covering the
Yeah, but
cost.
he's got gas to get it over there.
Well, I mean, we help him out with fuel every year too.
I know that.
So
What I would suggest is that we put a time frame on this, that for 2 months, we pay this cost. In the interim, we look at this compactor that would kind of solve the problem and see what can be worked out with the county about getting something in place. This is February, March, April, by April.
Just not to interrupt, John, Mike alluded to waste management. Has anybody reached out to any of those commercial big companies that might want to swing through here and pick up this? They're not interested.
Unfortunately, Allegheny is a place that you can't get to from anywhere. From their words,
Well, I mean, there's no, I guess there's not enough volume.
they don't have a service district here.
Right.
Republic has agreed to service our cardboard dumpster, but an average cost is $175 per dumpster per month.
All right, we covered that, that's,
Well, you know, I'm starting to say, I don't know that much about it, but I just don't feel like that every town in North Carolina furnishes, pick up the cardboard for nothing. You know, I just don't see that. I mean, that's just part of business there. Where I work now at the hospital, we got 3 dumpsters down there, and it costs the hospital for them to come pick up the cardboard, and they make money off of it, yeah. But I can't see that the town has the responsibility of having to pay out to pick up the cardboard.
And to Cole's question, Roger and I did discuss an alternate destination so that there is no fee to the town. And he has agreed to engage the person in Galax, and he and I discussed if he takes it to Galax, that he could look at his cost versus what he is receiving for that loose cardboard and perhaps calling it even wash. So I think that's a direction we'd like to see this until we can get that partnership going. Just my suggestion.
so can you tell us something about that at the next meeting?
Can we table this until
Yeah.
we know
So
what
you
comes of that?
Here's the catch-22. The county has given Roger 30 days to pay his bills or he loses his tipping privileges. So we at least need to cover or deny January to give us time to reconvene.
Well, I'd say we'll go ahead and pay for January, and from there on out, they can mix it in with the rest of the trash. Does that sound reasonable? Well, I'll make that motion.
So we have a motion to pay for January's fees for Roger. And we're gonna ask the merchants to commingle all your cardboard and your trash to make it easier on him for the next little while. And then you'll get back with us after we can maybe talk to Roger again about the Galax stuff or whatever else we can find out to bring back to our next meeting in March.
I'd also like to know about the compact.
Sure.
So we have that motion on the floor,
Second that.
and I have a second. Is there any discussion? Show of hands in favor of that motion.
I'll abstain.
Abstain, and those are against. For or against?
Yeah,
It's 2, I got 2, who's for? Raise your hands again if you're for the motion.
Mr. Brady cannot abstain.
He can't abstain. So I need,
I'll go along.
so that's 3. And those that are against, raise your hand.
gosh, I guess I've been away so long, I don't know what to do. So we're gonna pay it for January.
Pay it for January.
We're gonna look at Roger, trying to find a market for it and reach out to the county. And that still leaves us with the bugaboo of we've got 30 dumpsters sitting around out here to do something with if we force them to commingle.
When we come
So-
back in March, we're gonna have to deal with February,
So if this is just for January, I'll vote for it.
just for January. So 4-1.
I apologize for taking us down the rabbit hole.
Well, no, it's a complicated issue.
Our back was against the wall and it had to be,
Well, it's
On the
something that's gotta be
table.
done.
I will
I
have
don't think
more
you're gonna
answers.
solve the problem until there's a cardboard compactor. And I told that guy that he wouldn't wanna fix that one over there, it's too old. I mean, I told him at night.
Yeah.
So, you know, if,
And I think he alluded to that last night, that he didn't want to, it
That
wasn't safe.
they wouldn't take it. They're not gonna take, ain't
Right,
nobody's
well,
gonna take it the way it's strapped
I
up.
mean, you know, like I said, if it's a matter of us helping the county to buy a compactor to do this so that we don't have this problem and the merchants don't have this problem, then I'm all for it.
We're good. 4-1 on that passes. You wanna go into the fee schedule amendment?
I do. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This one should be a little less painful. So our approved fee schedule really identifies, water only or water and sewer. We have never established a sewer only customer base. And we've identified that we have 4 customers. While it's not a lot, we do occasionally get a request just for a sewer tap to be installed. They don't need water services. The way that our bills are generated is off of water usage. So without a water meter being present, we have no way to factually determine the amount of wastewater that's going into our system and needs to be treated. So what we have historically done without an approved fee schedule or a customer classification, it's charged them the minimum sewer rates for in town or out of town, depending on where they lie. Now, we have no way to accurately account, are they putting in the 2,000 minimum, or are they running a business and dumping 10,000? So we have no way to determine what that actual cost should be. So for the ladies up front to establish customers and to build them accurately, we need to establish a sewer only customer fee and then set what that fee is. Inside your packet, I made some recommendations based off the minimum side. Again, it's only 4 customers. I don't see that it's gonna astronomically grow, but that's kind of a baseline, and I'm open for
So
questions.
what are these 4 customers paying now? How much?
So there's 3 inside, they pay $14.24 a month. And then there's 1 on the outside, and they pay $20.94.
The residential, commercial.
They report residential, but we know 1 is a commercial. They're running a dog grooming business.
Was there a problem at that location with the sewer?
There's not a problem with us taking that and the contents of the sewer. We just don't know how much wastewater we're having to treat.
So I saw something about 25 outside of town.
25 inside and 36 for outside. That is a rough average for what water and sewer services cost. So they're not paying for water and sewer and only having sewer, but it brings them closer in line to what others are paying.
I can go along
Well, that
with that.
sounds reasonable to me.
I mean, you need a motion to approve these fees?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Have a
Second it.
motion on the floor and a second.
Second it.
Any discussion? Show of hands in favor of that, please. It's 5-0.
Did a little better than that.
We flip our agenda over. We go to agenda item number 11. We talk about a land exchange. All right.
I'll let, okay.
Or Ms. Whit.
Okay. Yeah, so this is going back to around September. The town declared the fairgrounds well site as surplus with the intention to exchange the well site location for the fairgrounds tank location. Those deeds have been prepared by Whitney. Plat's been recorded, and those are ready for execution to make the exchange for those 2 properties official. We just need action to to authorize the mayor to sign those.
It's a even swap, right?
It is.
Even swap.
So
Point
moved.
nine for point.
I have a motion for that. Do I have a second? Have a second. All in favor, show of hands on that one also, 5-0. Ron, if you want to continue on, it's your show.
Thank you. So next item is disposition of a 2002 GMC 2500 work truck that served primarily in its existence as the salt spreader and the plow truck. As you can imagine, due to the nature of the work that it's been exposed to over the past 20 years, it has become unusable and quite unsafe. It was our primary salt vehicle until the first snow of this month. The gas tank brackets actually rusted in two, and we lost the fuel tank and the fuel lines in the middle of the highway. It cost us about $1,100 to repair that, and then the next snowstorm, the drive shaft and the exhaust.
That's
Rusted out.
my deal.
Yeah. Terry
Anybody gonna wanna buy
actually,
this thing?
uh,
Ain't nobody gonna buy that.
the motor is in fantastic shape, and I think that's where our biggest bang is. It's a low
We need a
mile
motion
stick.
to sell this, right?
We need a motion to surplus it and dispose of it through sealed bid.
So
Motion.
moved.
Have a motion. Do I get a second from the Coles?
Second.
Second there. All in favor, show of hands. We'll surplus that.
Sounded like we're throwing good money after bad.
Didn't look pretty, I'll tell you that. We'll let him take a drink of water here before he gets into his manager's report.
I think you might know at this point, didn't we get some generous assistance from Michael Law?
We did. We, through our struggles with removing snow, Mr. Law has stepped up and generously helped us out in a great time of need.
We appreciate
We
that.
appreciate Michael Lyle for stepping up and helping the town out. We appreciate you, Michael, on that one. Are you ready for your manager's report?
Sure, thank you, Mr.
All right.
Mayor.
well,
The first item is the earthquake response update from the Office of State Budget Management. This report is a little dated, and it is a daily, but they prepared this. So from September 1st through December 31st of 2020, the funding appropriated was $24 million. To date, they've expended $1,439,189, and they have encumbered an additional $4,683,917, or roughly 25.5% of funding has been utilized or spoken for here in Allegheny County. Approximately 533 homes have been marked as damaged at one extent or the other, and there are 127 active cases that have received payment to date. Obviously, they've helped the county with courthouse damage up there, and that's an ongoing process. If you've noticed, the VFW just outside of town is looking great, and they advance funded that entire project. We did receive $150,000 advance funding here at the town for our repairs, and to date, there are 4 homes that were majorly damaged and will begin demolition and construction as soon as weather breaks. So this team has done a phenomenal job in very short order, and they are trying to infuse as much money into the county and town to get residents back in their homes. So I just wanted to share that from them. Second item, and Peggy, feel free to speak up if you'd like to. As you're all aware, the town was a lucky 20 units of government that was selected for an assessment by the state auditor's office. They have requested a lot of information about our budget process and about our disbursements and the process for how we go about doing that. To date, we have filled all those requests. We've had one Zoom meeting last week to answer some in-person questions. They indicated there will at least be one more virtual meeting to close that out. I don't have a clear direction on the feedback that the town will get. They stated that this was an opportunity to look statewide at practices to identify if there were similarities or vast differences in how local governments were operating so that they could modify or implement new statutes for the financial pieces of town. So we're getting to participate in groundbreaking fashion. So, but that is going well. Peggy, anything you want to add to that?
Our house is an open house. I told them they were more than welcome to come up there and look at our books if they needed to.
Very good.
Excellent. All right. Third item on my report, if you came in by the maintenance yard tonight, you noticed that our double gate that encloses our yard was left open. That is a manual gate that has been with us for quite some time. That manual gate is left open Monday through Friday from about 8 to 5. And it is a very much one way in, one way out, free access to the maintenance yard and also this facility. Due to its disrepair, it does have to stay open during freezing temperatures because if the guys close it, like this morning, they had to use a vehicle to open it. So while that is great theft deterrent, it's not great for operational needs. So the open access over the weekend, at night, during the day when nobody's here, does lend itself to some security issues for theft, and then people have access to our building without our staff upstairs knowing. So we engaged a contractor to look at an automated gate that is opened by essentially a door or a garage door opener that would be in the staff's vehicle, and it would have a closure after a certain period of time, which would secure this facility, and it would eliminate our guys having to leave it open. So since it is a capital item that's not originally budgeted, but we do have money for, I wanted to present to the council for consideration.
We have the money for it?
We have the money for it. And we need the security because there have been times when people have come, we didn't know, have walked up the steps, walked in, and we didn't know who they were.
So you need a motion to do this.
How much is
Can't you- Can't you put some locks on the doors? And we put locks on the doors where people just can't walk in?
We
Oh,
can look
well,
at it.
Yeah, and we have had people come out there and back up their truck and pull some of our pipes and stuff. And I think we need security up here.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
That's fine, but as far as walking in the building.
Yeah, they're walking in
I
the
mean,
building.
can't we put some locks on the door?
I think a door card reader, a badge access would be great on our
If you
exteriors.
put a storeroom lock on it there where it locks behind you each time, and everybody's got a key, that should eliminate that. You're talking about $100.
It is, our guys are in and out pretty extensively through the day. So I don't know the inconvenience weighs cost, but I do think a door lock system is the next step. If we can secure that, The only way people can get in is through the upstairs.
How much is the gate?
So the gate and all the fixtures to close it, the remotes are $13,000 approximately.
How much is just a single rolling gate? Do we have a price on that? Without automation?
No, because that gets us back to the manual.
Well, I mean, that would get us away from the double and being stuck, and then we could at least have function
Right.
in weather.
From talking to this gate company, which is out of West Jefferson, because of the length of the opening, a single gate is going to be difficult because it's going to be so long and heavy. That's about a 40-foot opening.
Okay, and that's true. And we have situations like that on a farm. What would be the option of a manual gate like Cole's talking about and have, say, 20 feet, 20 feet, 30 foot, 10 foot?
Yeah, I mean, if you had two rollers that met in
But
the middle.
you don't need 40 feet to take a truck in and out of this gate. So what about, and I see where this $13,000 gate would be lovely and nice, but we got a lot of other things we're gonna have to be looking at in our budget. So what about a quote on a manual sectional? I have to do that to farm, because, I have trouble turning in, so I like wide gates, but sure, you can't get very big gates, they're more high. So what about two gates that, just to look at?
I'll be glad to look at anything. I think
How do you all
the
feel about that?
the manual gate loses the security aspect. But I'll look at whatever the
Well,
direction is.
they would have to shut it at the end of the day and so forth,
I make a motion there to, look at the, more of the options there on the manual gate and see what we got.
yeah,
That's the way I feel.
and the $13,000 gate would be great, and certainly deal with those security problems. You don't want people just walking around, coming in, loading up stuff and taking off. But if there was, perhaps with a split gate, it wouldn't be such a big problem to go in and out.
So actually, all you need is now the consensus, really don't need a motion to do anything. It's just a consensus of the board
It is.
to
Sure.
look further into it, look for other options. Is that okay?
I think that would be
Is that-
nice.
Is that the way the council wants to
I
do it?
would add that, looking at if you're gonna do this, then let's do it all, not monkey around with it. I think my.
We do have the money, that we don't have to make a budget amendment. We have identified the 13,000.
Okay, I understand that, but what Mike is talking about is the building itself
Right.
and those locks, looking at what would it take to do all of it? I mean, what Cole's talking about,
A whole revamped security system
Right.
up here
what would it take to do all of it?
to do all this.
If we're gonna do it, then let's do it all. Let's not do a little bit now and a little bit later. And, in the meantime, have somebody fall on the ice and break their neck.
Yeah.
All right, so you've got that, and that's gonna lead us right into your next subject too.
It is. Good leading. So the next one is our snow removal, which has, as you can tell, been a challenge with some of our equipment that has been neglected and in need of repair. The more troubling piece is the maintenance of the new sidewalk and the parking spots on Main Street because of that design. Previously, the sidewalks were narrow, and our snow blower, one pass, it cleared the entire sidewalk, and the street was straight. There was no bump outs, there was no recessed parking. So DOT could throw the snow over onto the sidewalk, we could blow it back in the curb and gutter, scrape it up if we needed to, life was good. Unfortunately, the bump outs now become the place for that snow. And we, with our current equipment, do not have a finessable way to remove that. We can do it with some of our bigger equipment, and most likely we're gonna end up damaging those bump outs. Additionally, the sidewalks are now about triple the size that they were. So even if we make our best dead effort to clean those sidewalks during a snowstorm, the snow comes off the awning and lands in the middle of the sidewalk, and we're back to square one. So the past 2 snowstorms, we have worked, let me not say we, the guys have worked very diligently to maintain the roads, and have additionally spent about 3 hours trying to maintain the street or the sidewalk just for a walkable path. Not clearing the entire sidewalk does create that slip trip hazard. Even though we've put out a nice 3-foot walkway, we have no bounds to keep people from walking in the snow, slipping, falling, and getting hurt, and taking action against the town. So the equipment we have does not meet the needs to maintain.
Will this
our
equipment
streets.
that you're talking about in here do that?
It does.
What does it cost?
That depends. I've looked at several different models, from Kubota to Can-Am to Polaris. It's gonna range anywhere from about 25,000 to 35,000, depending on what we get. Because it's gotta have a snow plow, it's gotta have the rubber blade for the one pass. It is expensive, but we're investing man hours, taking care of a sidewalk and letting our streets go. So with the equipment and the manpower we have, there has to be a decision, do we take care
Can
of the
this
sidewalk or the
machine-
street?
Can it be used for other things like in the summer or?
It can be a sprayer for weeds, it can have a dump bed, it can landscape, it could, pretty endless possibilities.
And then you said we'd pay for this with power bill and whatever we get from that truck and somewhere else. So it's really not,
If we try to get something now, can we get before the winter's over with?
Maybe.
Well, I'm all for, you gotta have decent equipment right there if you want to maintain it there. So I'm all for spending money and getting a good piece of equipment.
What about the little Kubota tractor?
okay, Peggy says we got the money. I'll make a motion that we.
Hang on. She's asked a question.
What about the little Kubota tractor that was heretofore used for this very purpose? I know it was traded away. What's the possibility of getting it back?
That horse has probably already been sold.
You know, in all fairness, this year's been a little bit touchy, and I'm outside every day, and I'm well aware, and do go up around through town and walk the dog, so we've got a problem. Now, last year, the year of 2019-20, we didn't have a measurable snow. All right, this year, we've already had 3, not huge, but slightly problematic, and we could have 2 feet next week. We don't know. But in my opinion, with the budget coming up, this is a huge expenditure. It'd be nice to have. It'd be nice for me to have up my place. But we don't have enough snow for me to justify having that kind of equipment. So my thought on the thing would be, before we make a major purchase like this, to get by with what we have, put this in our budget discussions and go from there. Because it's all nice and it's pretty, and it'd be handy dandy, but
What we have now is manpower.
that's true.
That's it.
And we don't have a
And
lot of that.
I don't know,
You got a
I don't know
ball?
about anybody else, but I've shoveled snow and about after 30 minutes, I'm whooped.
I'm sure, but, this is something,
It sounds to me like this is not something we need to put off.
Well, I beg to differ. I think we ought to put this in our budget discussions. This is a huge expenditure for a piece of equipment that last year we wouldn't have used.
But we
Well,
could use it
but,
for
I mean,
other
we can
things
use
too.
it in the
Well,
summer
how
and
much
stuff
are
like
how
that,
much are they
then-
gonna be driving around spraying weeds and that sort of thing? I mean,
Well,
Can-
not
can-
just,
can
not
we
just
really
that, but I
justify
can see it utilized in chasing water leaks or stuff like, working,
oh, they're fun.
working
They're
over
handy to
next to
have.
the wash pot the other week. Instead of using a truck to go get tools, and that's using more gas than this thing would, I mean, you could run that to the shop and utilize it.
They're neat.
I
And
think
they're
it would be
handy.
cost savings as well.
They're neat. They're handy. But that's a lot of money for something you can't drive down the road to Elkin and pick up something.
I'd like to make a motion if you could, Mr. Manager. I'd like to go ahead and try to look through this piece of equipment. And, if we can get it now and before it snows again, that'd be great. So, and, being we can use it for other things, you gotta have decent equipment and you gotta have something you do it with.
So what the motion is that you're in favor of going after this piece of equipment
That's
and
my
and
motion.
making the purchase.
That's my motion.
I have that motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second. Any further discussion? Show of hands, please, in favor of that. All against? 4-1.
Thank you. I know the maintenance folks will be greatly appreciative of that. Last item, I have, Mr. Mayor, is budget work session, dates. I proposed, March 15th and the 22nd from 5 to 7 for those, sessions. And I just want to get the consensus of the
What day of the
council.
week is that?
Mondays,
What dates was that?
March 15th and the 22nd. It's the 2 middle Mondays of March,
What time?
5 to
That's a
7.
Monday.
Monday.
I should be able to work that.
Yeah, just a consensus or
Yeah,
is
they
that,
just need.
is that good with everybody?
As of right now, I don't know what I'm doing in March.
All right, that's what we'll set it as. Those dates right there should be good to go. And if anybody else has any problem, we'll just get with Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. That's all I have.
If you look before, you also have the financial summary report that's in front of you here from our finance officer, Peggy Show. Feel free to look over that. If you have any questions, she'll entertain those at this time. And I'll give you a couple minutes just to do all of that. Main thing I'm gonna ask is, we're in good shape, right? Thumbs up, good, okay. Everything is normal. Any questions for Peggy on the financial? All right. Is there any other business that the council would like to bring up at this time? If not, I'm gonna open up the floor for public comments. Public comments can be about anything that has been talked here about tonight, or that you wanna bring up for future consideration. So I'll open the podium up. Anybody wanna make a statement in public comments? Being no movement, we'll close our public comment, and I'm gonna go to council member comments, and I'll start with Councilmember Millie Richardson and get her final comments for tonight.
Everything looks good to me.
Go ahead,
We're good.
John.
I'm real interested in this, working with the county on the compact.
Mike?
I'm wishing Ryan a speedy recovery from his ordeal for the next couple of weeks. And, if you need anything, who you can holler at.
Thank you, sir.
Terry,
I'm good.
you good?
Yes, sir.
With that being said, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn till our next meeting in March. A motion and a second.
Second.
Second, all in favor, show of hands. Meeting is adjourned until March.